The air backstage is thick with the ghosts of performances past. A layered scent of rosin from the string quartet, the chemical sweetness of hairspray from the dancers, and the sharp metallic tang of pure, unadulterated anxiety. It's a perfume I used to love, the scent of possibility. Tonight it feels like a suffocating shroud. From my vantage point in the wings, a sliver of darkness that renders me invisible. I watch the monitor. On the screen, Noah adjusts the microphone, his familiar silhouette haloed by the pre-show ghost light. Beside him, Isabel, my replacement, smooths the velvet of her dress, her movements stiff and self-conscious. They are about to open the Northwood Arts Academy Annual Youth Showcase. They are about to perform my song. My eyes fix on a detail the camera can't quite capture, but I know is there. A small, glinting betrayal against his skin. Hanging from a thin leather cord around Noah's neck is the silver guitar pick I gave him for our 1-year anniversary. It's worn smooth at the edges from constant use, engraved with a single, looping infinity sign I'd sketched myself. It was meant to be our good luck charm, a silent promise we'd make our music together, forever. Seeing it now, nestled against the collar of a shirt I've never seen, feels like a small, deliberate profanity. It's a violation of a memory, a theft of something even more intangible than a melody. He's wearing our history as a prop for his new show, a talisman stripped of its meaning and repurposed for a lie. This is Northwood, a place where talent is currency and ambition is the air we breathe. The annual showcase isn't just a school talent show, it's an institution, a brutal and beautiful proving ground. The winner receives the Sterling Scholarship, a full ride to any arts university in the country, and a professionally produced demo with Apex Records. It's the kind of opportunity that carves a career out of a high school dream. For 2 years, Noah and I were on a trajectory to win it. We were the golden duo, the inseparable pair. His intricate guitar work, the perfect vessel for my lyrics and melodies. We lived in the practice rooms, our notes scribbled on napkins from the diner where we'd talk for hours. Our voices hoarse from singing the same chorus 100 times until it was perfect. Our magnum opus, the song he is about to play, was called Echo in the Static. It was born from a sleepless night and a shared, lukewarm cup of coffee, a piece of my soul set to 6 strings. A flicker of movement on the monitor brings me back to the present. Noah leans toward Isabel, his mouth moving in a silent word of encouragement. She offers him a tight, adoring smile. The sight sends a jolt through me, a chilling resonance of a scene I shouldn't be able to remember. It's a memory that doesn't belong to this timeline, a phantom limb of a life I no longer have, twitching with a pain that is all too real. The last time the memory is not a phantom, it is a blinding, searing reality. The stage lights were hot on my face, the energy of the crowd a palpable wave that lifted me up. I was standing where Isabel is now. Noah was beside me, the same silver pick glinting under the lights. We were about to perform Echo in the Static. He'd just whispered, "Ready, Soph?" His voice a low, excited hum against my ear, and I'd given him a shaky, ecstatic nod, then a sound. A sharp, sickening crack from above, like a giant's bone snapping. I looked up. A piece of the lighting rig, a heavy steel truss that had been hanging there for years, was plummeting towards us. There was no time to think, only to react, a primal instinct to protect the person I loved most. I shoved Noah hard, pushing him out of the direct path. He stumbled back, his guitar clattering against the stage. I had a fleeting, absurd thought that I hoped it wasn't damaged. Then the world became a cacophony of screaming, crunching metal, and a final, crushing darkness. My last sensation wasn't the pain. It was the sound of Noah's voice, cutting through the chaos. He wasn't screaming my name. He wasn't calling for help. His voice was a panicked, desperate cry, directed at the stage manager who was rushing towards the wreckage. "The song! We can still use the song!" And then, nothing. Until I woke up. Not in a hospital, not in an afterlife, but in my own bed, the morning sun streaming through my window, painting golden stripes across my duvet. The date on my phone was 3 weeks before the showcase. My body was whole, the world outside my window was unchanged, but I was fundamentally altered. The first week was a blur of confusion, and a grief so profound it felt like drowning in an ocean of silence. I was mourning a death that no one else knew had happened. I was a ghost in my own life, haunting the sunlit rooms of my own home. My parents hovered, their faces etched with a concern I couldn't explain. "You seem so distant, honey," my mom said one evening, her hand on my forehead, checking for a fever I didn't have. "Is everything okay at school with Noah?" How could I tell her that I had just died there? That the boy she adored had prioritized a song over my life? So I just shook my head. "I'm fine, Mom. Just tired." I saw Noah that first day back at school. He was waiting by my locker, his smile as bright and easy as ever. "Soph, I was getting worried. You weren't answering my texts." He reached out to hug me and I flinched, my body recoiling before my mind could stop it. The feeling of his arms around me, the scent of his familiar cologne. It was all overlaid with the memory of his final damning words. "Whoa, hey," he said, pulling back, his expression shifting to one of hurt confusion. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," I mumbled, my voice sounding foreign to my own ears. "Just didn't sleep well." He adopted a look of deep concern, a performance in its own right. "You know, you've been pushing yourself too hard. Maybe you should take a break from practice for a few days. For your own good. I can handle things." The suggestion was so slick, so perfectly pitched, that the old me would have been grateful. The new me saw it for what it was. The first move in his campaign to sideline me. For that first week, I was adrift. I went to classes in a daze, the voices of my teachers a meaningless drone. I walked past the auditorium and felt a wave of vertigo, my eyes instinctively drawn to the ceiling, to the lighting rig that was still hanging there, solid and innocuous. I saw the ghost of it falling, heard the phantom scream of the crowd. I had to lean against the wall, my heart hammering, until the feeling passed. I watched Noah and Isabel from afar, their casual laughter in the cafeteria a physical blow. He was already spending more time with her, already laying the groundwork. I saw the way she looked at him, with a desperate, hungry admiration. I saw the way he basked in it. I almost broke. I almost went to him, screaming, crying, demanding to know how he could be so cruel. But the memory of my own death held me back. What could I say? "You let me die, and your first thought was to steal my music?" I would sound insane. And that, I realized with a sudden chilling clarity, was exactly what he would want. The turning point came during the second week. I was in the library pretending to study when I overheard two younger students talking about the showcase. They were discussing Noah, his talent, his charisma. "He's a shoo-in for the Sterling," one of them said. "He's just got that star quality." The other one, a girl from the showcase's student committee, nodded. "And he's so dedicated. He's in the practice rooms 24/7s, especially now that he's working with Isabel. I heard Sophie's been kind of flaky lately. Noah told me he's worried she's going to drop out." The words, casual and cruel, were like a bucket of ice water. Flaky. That was the narrative he was building, the fragile artist crumbling under the pressure. It was then that the memory surfaced, not of the accident, but of something far more mundane. The night before, I had been working on a new harmony for the bridge of Echo, and I'd hit record on my phone's voice memo app out of habit to listen back to it. I'd left the room to get some water, leaving the phone on the piano. My fingers, trembling slightly, pulled my phone from my pocket. I opened the app, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs. I scrolled back through weeks of forgotten snippets of melody and lyrical ideas. And there it was. A recording, dated the night before the accident. It was 34 minutes long. I plugged in my earbuds, my hands shaking so badly I could barely fit the jack into the port. I pressed play. The audio was clear. It was my voice first, humming the harmony, then the sound of the door closing as I left. Silence for a moment. Then Noah's voice, but not the warm, encouraging tone he used with me. This was different. Colder, calculating. "Yeah, her lyrics are a bit dramatic, but the bones are good," he was saying. "The melody is strong. We can strip it down, make it more commercial, more marketable." Then another voice, honeyed and sharp. "Isabel. But she'll never agree to change it. She's so precious about her artistic integrity." A low chuckle from Noah. "Leave that to me. Sophie's too fragile to handle the real pressure of the industry anyway. One big pushback and she'll crumble. By then, a slot will be ours. Everyone will just think she had a meltdown and couldn't handle the spotlight. The recording ended there. He hadn't planned for the rig to fall. His betrayal was more mundane, more insidious than that. He was simply waiting for me to break so he could pick up the pieces he wanted and discard the rest. The accident had just accelerated his timeline. Listening to it, the grief that had been fogging my mind for a week burned away, leaving behind a cold, diamond-hard clarity. I wasn't a ghost. I was a witness. This wasn't a nightmare, it was an encore, a second chance. And this time, I would yin not the tragic muse for his success story. This time, I would write my own ending. The third week was one of transformation. I became an architect of my own vindication. I ate, I slept, I went to classes and smiled at my teachers. I was a model student, a picture of calm stability. When Noah would approach me, his face a mask of concern, asking why I was so distant, why I wasn't coming to practice anymore, I would give him a placid, gentle smile. "I just need some space, Noah," I'd say. "I'm working on something new, something just for me." The lie was effortless. I was playing a part, and I was a damn good actress. My real work began in the solitude of my room. I took out my guitar, its familiar weight a comfort in my hands. But I couldn't play Echo in the Static. The melody was tainted, the lyrics a monument to a love that was a lie. So I started something new. I let the anger, the grief, the chilling clarity of my rebirth flow through my fingers and into the strings. A new melody began to form, quieter than Echo, more complex. It was a song of survival. I scribbled lyrics on a notepad, crossing out lines, searching for the right words. Woke up from the wreckage with a ghost inside my head. No, too literal. You thought the silence was the end, but it was just a breath I held. Better, the song began to take shape, a testament not to what was lost, but to what was found in the ruins. I called it Overture, and I began to plan. A private confrontation was useless. He would deny everything, paint me as hysterical. I needed a public stage. I needed irrefutable proof. I needed allies. My first choice was Liam, the stage manager. He was a junior, perpetually clad in black with a headset that seemed permanently attached to his ear. He was brilliant, overlooked, and ran the entire technical side of every show with quiet, unthanked competence. In my past life, I always made a point to thank him, to bring him coffee, to acknowledge the work no one else saw. I was counting on that history now. I found him 2 days before the showcase, alone in the tech booth, splicing together audio cues. "Liam," I said, my voice calm and even. He looked up, surprised. "Sophie, hey, haven't seen you around the theater much." "I've been busy," I said. "Listen, I need your help. It's about the showcase." I paused, letting the weight of the words settle. I have reason to believe that Noah is submitting a song that isn't entirely his own work. Liam's expression soured. He had no love for Noah, whose casual arrogance and last-minute demands made the tech crew's life a living hell. "That's a big accusation," he said, but his tone was more curious than dismissive. "I know, and I have proof," I said, "but I can't just go to the committee. It would be my word against his, and he's the golden boy. I need to present the proof in a way that can't be denied or spun." I leaned forward, my voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "I need to switch the intro asset for his performance." He was hesitant. "Sophie, I could lose my position. Noah's father is a major donor. If this goes wrong..." "It won't go wrong," I said, my voice firm. I pulled out my phone and played him the full 34-minute recording. I watched his face as he listened, his initial skepticism hardening into a quiet fury. He heard Noah's dismissal of my talent, Isabel's cruel laughter, the calculated plan to ruin my reputation. When it was over, he was silent for a long moment, his gaze fixed on the mixing board in front of him. He was a stickler for rules, for protocol. But he was also a fierce defender of the unseen, the uncredited. He looked up at me, his eyes hard. "What do you need me to do?" I handed him the USB drive. "This is the correct file. It needs to play on the main screen as their intro, and the audio needs to be patched directly into the house speakers. The original track should be muted. Label it Harrison_priority_asset. When the time comes, just press play." He took the drive, his fingers closing around it. "Consider it done," he said, a grim smile touching his lips. One ally secured. Now for the second, and most important. I found Mr. Harrison in his tiny, cluttered office just off the wings. It smelled of old books and stale coffee. He was a formidable man, a former Broadway director who retired to teach, and he had no patience for drama or excuses. He was also the head of the scholarship judging committee. His opinion was the only one that truly matters. He looked up from a stack of papers as I entered, his glasses perched on the end of his nose. "Sophie, I hope this is important. We're 5 minutes to curtain." "It is, sir," I say, closing the door behind me. "It concerns the integrity of the showcase and a violation of the Academy's honor code." His eyes sharpened. He took off his glasses and leaned back in his chair, giving me his full attention. "That's a very serious accusation, Sophie. I hope you're not here to waste my time with petty squabbles. Do you have proof?" "I have irrefutable proof," I said, my voice unwavering. "You will see it shortly, but I needed to speak to you first. I'm not asking you to intervene beforehand. I'm not asking for you to disqualify them based on my word." He raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "Then what are you asking for?" "I'm asking that when the evidence is presented, you and the committee uphold the rules of this academy. That the judgment is based not on favoritism or on who has the most popular support, but on the simple, unbendable principle of artistic ownership, that's all." Mr. Harrison studied my face, his expression unreadable. He's seen hundreds of ambitious, dramatic students. He's an expert at spotting lies and manipulation. I met his gaze without flinching, letting him see the quiet certainty there. I wasn't here to plead or to cry. I was here to inform him of a fact, and to trust him to be the man of principle he claimed to be. Finally, he nodded slowly. "The honor code is not a suggestion, Sophie. It is the foundation of this institution. If a violation has occurred, it will be dealt with. I will be watching." "Thank you, sir," I said. That's all I needed. I slipped out of his office and back into my hiding place in the wings, just as the house lights began to dim. The murmur of the crowd faded into a hush of anticipation. On the monitor, I saw the stage manager give Noah and Isabel the standby signal. Noah rolled his shoulders, a picture of confidence. Isabel wrung her hands, a nervous tic she's always had. My heart wasn't pounding. My hands weren't shaking. As the announcer's voice boomed through the auditorium. "And now, to open our annual youth showcase, please welcome the incredible talents of Noah and Isabel." I felt a strange and powerful sense of peace. The past is a ghost, but I am not. I am here. I am ready. The overture is about to begin. The moments stretch, each second a lifetime. I watch the monitor, a detached observer to my own vindication. The first act is a contemporary dance piece, full of raw, athletic energy. The dancers are flawless, their movements sharp and synchronized. The crowd loves them. Backstage, the energy is a low hum of nervous whispers and the rustle of costumes. I stand apart, a still point in the turning world. I see Noah and Isabel across the way, accepting congratulations from their friends. Noah catches my eye and offers a small, condescending smile, the kind you give a rival you believe you've already beaten. I give him nothing back, just a calm, level stare, which seems to unnerve him more than any glare would. Then comes a jazz trio, then a classical soprano, whose voice fills the hall with a heartbreaking Puccini aria. Each act is a testament to the talent crammed within these walls, a reminder of the stakes. I feel a phantom pang of what I lost, the joy of performance, the thrill of sharing my music. But it's quickly replaced by the cold, hard resolve of my purpose. Finally, the stage is cleared. The announcer's voice returns, smooth and professional. "And now, for our final performance before the intermission, please welcome the incredible talents of Noah and Isabel." A wave of applause ripples through the auditorium. On the monitor, I see them walk to the center of the stage. Noah has his acoustic guitar, the one we picked out together. Isabel stands beside the piano. They look every bit the part of the artistic power couple. They take their positions, basking in the spotlight. The crowd quiets. This is it. Noah strums the first familiar chord of Echo in the Static. It's a beautiful, haunting sound that I know as well as my own heartbeat. It's a sound that should be coming from my own fingers. As the notes hang in the air, the giant screen behind them flickers to life. It's supposed to display their names in elegant script, but their names don't appear. Instead, a simple, stark audio visualizer pulses across the screen, a single, jagged line of green on a black background. And then, from the massive house speakers, a voice. My voice, tinny and distant from the original scratch recording. Testing, testing. Okay, harmony idea for the bridge. Then, silence. Followed by Noah's voice, crystal clear, amplified to fill every corner of the auditorium. Her lyrics are a bit dramatic, but the bones are good. The melody is strong. We can strip it down, make it more commercial, more marketable. A confused murmur ripples through the audience. On stage, Noah's fingers freeze on the strings of his guitar. His head whips around to look at the screen, his face a mask of disbelief. Isabel's smile falters, her eyes wide with confusion. Then her own voice, sharp and conspiratorial, echoes through the hall. But she'll never agree to change it. She's so precious about her artistic integrity. The murmuring in the crowd intensifies, turning into audible gasps. People are sitting up straighter, leaning forward, realizing this is not part of the show. This is something else entirely. Noah's recorded laugh, low and cruel, fills the silence. Leave that to me. Sophie's too fragile to handle the real pressure of the industry anyway. One big pushback and she'll crumble. By then, the slot will be ours. Everyone will just think she had a meltdown and couldn't handle the spotlight. The recording ends. The visualizer vanishes, leaving the screen black. The silence in the auditorium is absolute, a heavy, suffocating blanket of shock. Every eye is on the two figures frozen on the stage, caught in the unforgiving glare of the spotlight. Noah's face has gone from disbelief to pure, unadulterated horror. He looks pale, exposed, stripped bare in front of the entire school. Isabel looks like she's about to be physically ill, her hands covering her mouth. In the tech booth, I know Liam is holding his breath. In his office, Mr. Harrison is watching. Then, a single spotlight detaches from the pair on stage. It pans slowly, deliberately across the stage and into the wings until it finds me. I am standing there holding my own acoustic guitar, a simple, unadorned instrument. I am not smiling, I am not gloating, I am simply ready. A figure walks out from the opposite wings and onto the stage. It's Mr. Harrison. He takes the microphone from its stand, his movements calm and authoritative. The look on his face is glacial. There appears to have been a serious breach of the Northwood Arts Academy honor code, he announces, his voice ringing with cold fury. The words land like hammer blows in the silent hall. The opening performance slot and the song Echo in the Static are hereby forfeit. He turns his head slightly, his gaze falling on Noah and Isabel. You will report to the headmaster's office immediately. He doesn't need to raise his voice. The command is absolute. Two security guards appear at the edge of the stage, their presence a quiet, final judgment. Noah looks wildly around, his eyes searching for an escape, an explanation. He looks at me, his mouth opening as if to say my name, a desperate, pleading look on his face. I just meet his gaze, my expression a placid, unreadable mask. I give him nothing. Mr. Harrison turns back to the audience. However, he says, his voice shifting, the showcase must go on. We have a registered alternate for the opening slot, a musician and composer in her own right. Please welcome to the stage, Sophie. The security guards escort a shattered Noah and a sobbing Isabel off the stage. The path is clear. A quiet hum of anticipation builds in the crowd as I walk from the wings into the light. The applause starts, hesitant at first, then growing in volume and intensity as I reach the center of the stage. They are not just clapping for a performer, they are clapping for a story they have just seen unfold. A public correction of a deep and private wrong. I sit on the stool, the wood smooth and solid beneath me. I adjust the microphone, the metal cool against my fingers. I don't look at the stunned faces in the crowd or the empty space where Noah and Isabel just stood. I look out, past the lights, into the welcoming darkness. My fingers find the strings of my guitar. The instrument feels like an extension of myself, a part of my own body. And then I begin to play it, but it's not echo in the static. It's not the song they stole, it's Overture, the song I forged in the quiet, lonely weeks of my second chance. The opening chords are quiet, questioning, the sound of dawn after a long night. Then the melody builds, powerful and defiant. The lyrics tell my story, not in specifics, but in feeling. The fall, the silence, the slow, painful climb back into the light. You thought the silence was the end, but it was just a breath I held, and in the quiet, I could hear the story I was meant to tell. My voice, when I begin to sing, is stronger than I've ever heard it. It's clear, steady, and filled with all the pain, resolve, and ferocious hope of a life I fought to reclaim. I pour every ounce of my strange, secret journey into the performance. The memory of the fall, the chill of the betrayal, the quiet strength I found in the aftermath. It's all there, woven into the fabric of the music. For 3.5 minutes, I own the stage. I own the story. I own my name. When the final chord fades, the silence that follows is different from the one that greeted the voice memo. This silence is not born of shock. It is born of awe. It's a sacred, breathless pause. Then, a single person begins to clap. It's Liam, standing by the tech booth. Then another, and another, until the entire auditorium erupts in a tidal wave of applause, a roar of approval that washes over me, not as a judgment, but as a welcome. I close my eyes for a fraction of a second, letting the sound sink in. I give a small, grateful nod to the audience, a simple acknowledgement. I don't need a standing ovation to know that I've won. I won the moment I decided to fight back. I walk off the stage, my guitar held tight to my chest. The backstage area, once a hub of nervous energy, is now electric with a different kind of charge. People part for me as I walk through. Some offer tentative smiles, others looks of respect. The whispers that follow me are no longer about my supposed fragility, but about my strength. I see Noah and Isabel near the exit, standing with the headmaster. Isabel is weeping openly, her face buried in her hands. Noah just stands there, his face ashen, his eyes empty. He looks up and sees me approaching. "Sophie," he says, his voice a hoarse whisper. He takes a step towards me, his hand outstretched. "Sophie, I can explain. It wasn't supposed to be like that. You've been under so much stress," I thought. I stop walking. I look at him, at the boy I once loved. The boy I wrote songs with under starry skies. The boy who would have let my memory be the foundation of his fame. I see him for what he is, small and scared and weak. And I feel nothing. The anger has burned away, leaving behind only the calm, clean slate of indifference. I reach up, and before he can react, I unclasp the leather cord around his neck. The silver pick falls into my palm, its metal cool against my skin. "No, Noah," I say, my voice quiet but carrying in the suddenly silent hallway. I close my fist around the pick. "You can't." I don't raise my voice. I don't list his sins. I just state the simple, unalterable truth. I turn and walk past him without another glance, leaving him standing there with his useless explanations and his empty promises. I'm heading towards the green room when a voice calls my name. "Sophie!" I turn. It's Mr. Harrison, and he's not alone. Standing beside him is a woman I've never seen before. She's tall, impeccably dressed in a sharp blazer, with an air of effortless authority. "That was an extraordinary performance," Mr. Harrison says, a genuine smile finally reaching his eyes. "Your song Overture? Well, it was exactly that, a beginning." He gestures to the woman beside him. "This is Miss Vance. She's the head of AANDR for Apex Records." The woman from the record label extends a hand to me. Her handshake is firm, her eyes sharp and intelligent. "I've been a judge for this showcase for 5 years, Sophie," Miss Vance says, her voice warm but direct. "I've seen a lot of talent, but what I just saw was more than talent. It was authenticity. It was a voice. The industry is full of pretty voices. We're looking for stories. You have a story to tell." She gives me a knowing look. The Sterling Scholarship is, of course, yours. The committee was unanimous. But I'd like to talk to you about something more. The prize includes a demo session, but I think we can do better than that. I'd like to offer you a paid summer internship in my AANDR department. We're always looking for people who can not only create, but who can also recognize an authentic voice. You clearly have an ear for it. My breath catches in my throat. An internship at Apex Records. It's a dream beyond a dream, a door opening to a future I had never even dared to imagine, not even in my first life. It's not just a prize, it's a career path. It's a chance to be on the other side, to be a gatekeeper, a champion for other artists. I I don't know what to say, I stammer, my composure finally cracking just a little. Say you'll think about it, Miss Vance says with a smile. My card. She hands me a crisp, heavy business card. Call me next week. We'll set up a meeting. I take the card, its embossed letters feeling like a tangible piece of my new future. I look from the card to Mr. Harrison's proud face, to the open door of the auditorium where the showcase is continuing without me, the sounds of another performer filling the air. My show is over. But my story, the real one, is just beginning. I turn and walk towards the exit, not into the wings, but out into the cool night air. The sounds of the showcase fade behind me, replaced by the quiet hum of the city. I walk for a long time with no destination in mind, the business card in one hand, the silver pick in the other. I stop at a small bridge overlooking a dark, slow-moving canal. I look at the pick one last time, the infinity sign glinting in the moonlight, a promise of a forever that never was. With a flick of my wrist, I toss it into the water. It makes a tiny, almost imperceptible splash, and then it's gone. I don't watch it sink. I turn and walk away, my steps light, my future my own. The ghosts have been laid to rest,